Luka the Don. Luka the Don. He done it again. You know, done it is not a word. That's a word that I came up with. He done it again.
Skin is joined by the man of the hour right now.
Yeah, thank you, Followell. Luka, it's never been done in NBA history. A 60-point, 20-rebound triple-double. 60 points, 20 boards. It never happened, baby. How's it feel right now?
I'm tired as hell.
You can rest later. You're young.
I need a recovery beer.
Oh, we can handle that. Look, there's so much to talk about in this, but I want to go back to regulation. Take us through that final play, missing the rebound, getting the follow bucket. Take us through all that.
No, I think it was just kind of lucky. You know, I know it was 2 seconds or whatever on the clock. I just threw it up. I guess I was kind of lucky. But, you know, we were down, 10, 2 minutes ago, something like that. We came back. You know, this is an amazing team win.
Luka, you're never lucky. You make your own luck. What did Jalen Brunson just say to you over there?
Nothing. I told him about the Cowboys, how we beat Eagles. But, you know, that's my guy. He's good. He's always going to be my guy, you know. Today we miss him. I would like to go against him, but, you know, just so much respect for JB.
The bid is on my tab, bro. The bid is on my tab. The bid that you're looking for. Even though you beat my Knicks, it's on me, Luka. I got to respect the hustle. Diljane, I'm going to kick it off with you. What are your thoughts on the epic collapse and whose fault is it?
It is Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau is the issue here, and here's why. So, you know, you kind of been more balanced all season long when it comes down. You know, the Knicks play had been pretty balanced. They had a nice rotation. They were at least hanging in games, and then early in the season, they were dominating games. But you have like 3 guys on the floor in upwards of over 40 minutes. Inexcusable when you got guys on the bench that can ball, okay? Your combinations of who you're putting in the game, not very good when a guy can just simply just go off the way he did. I mean, like the clip we just saw there. He intentionally throws it up. There's a bunch of Knicks around, and nobody could come down with that, and he's able to just come right in there and just throw it right back up. Like he said, he just threw up a hope and a prayer, and it went in. That's unacceptable, and it starts with coaching. You know, this is the same thing. When I saw this, I see shades of the Wizards from last year. And sometimes we see that this year too. But there's times where the team just checks out. I mean, that first half, they had 30 points in the first quarter, 33 points. So you're talking about 63 points in the first half. You're playing great ball. You come in the third quarter, and okay, you still come out 29-27. You're still ahead. And then in the fourth quarter, you piss down your leg like the moment's too big, and you end up going into overtime. I can't say there's a lack of talent here. It has to be coaching, and it has to be the ability to understand situational basketball and let the guys who you depend on, like the Randalls, the Emmanuels, the Grimes, those guys, McBride, to have those times where they can get that rest for the down the stretch moments in the fourth quarter when you need to close it out. Obviously, that was a big thing that hurt them because those guys were gassed. Now you're trying to rely on guys that 13 minutes, 12 minutes, 11 minutes. You're talking about Sims, Rhodes, and Isaiah Hartenstein. Come on, man. That cannot happen in a game like this. You already know what Dallas brings. So I'm blaming Thibodeau here. Not good basketball managing skills at all.
I think I'm gonna blame the Knicks players here, and I don't have anybody in particular that I want to blame as far as an individual, more like the team effort. You know, I understand the point that you made, and it's valid about Tom Thibodeau and him not really going deep into his rotation at times, and guys have, high usage rates, 40 minutes per game. That's kind of Thibodeau's. That's the old Thibodeau that we know of, a guy that's going to burn his players out to a certain extent. But I think for me, it comes down to the little things. Rebounding and free throws. Those are the easiest things that you can do, bro. Sometimes you can't control a shot going into the basket, but you can control making your free throws. That's why it's called free throws. You can control getting the rebound. That's effort, okay? And it's the little things that we did not do in this game that cost us the game. I mean, you talk about the last couple of games. That's been a microcosm of us not being able to close out games. Yes, we know we don't have superstar talent. We don't have that one guy that we can go to like Luka to get us some buckets in the fourth quarter and put on a magical show. We don't have that type of guy. We have guys that are sometimes week to week, sometimes game to game, sometimes streaky. We don't have those guys. That's why effort and the little things are even more important for us because we don't have that Luka the Don on our team, right? Jalen Brunson in a particular game, I think it was against the Raptors, he was actually shooting 89.1% from the stripe. He missed 2 free throws to ice the game. That's why we lost that game. Quentin Grimes, 82.1% from the field goal, not from the field goal, from the stripe. He missed free throws in that same game with 1 minute left to go in the game. All right, you look at this game, and in overtime, Dallas went 9 for 10 from the line, and New York went 2 for 6. We were 7 of 15 on our foul shots in the last 5 minutes of the game of regulation. That's what allowed the door to be open for them to come back anyway. So it's about the little things. I'm pretty sure Tom Thibodeau wasn't in the huddle preaching, miss your free throws, bro. Don't rebound, bro. I'm pretty sure he was preaching all those things, but the players didn't do so. And yes, you can factor fatigue in that. Okay, and that's where Tom Thibodeau comes in when you talk about the fatigue. And, you know, you don't do the little things sometimes when you're tired, and I get that. So there is a correlation there. But at the same time, if you want it, you got to go get it. And we didn't do that. And that's why Luka the Don just chopped this up and sent this back home in a box. Zach, the mic is yours.
Before you do that, I'm gonna actually help you out here. You have a valid point. So listen to this, Zach. Listen to this. So the first quarter, they were 50% from the field. They were about 63% from 2, and they were 38% from 3. So second quarter it goes up 54%. They're about, and then from the 2, they're about 66%, 66.7 and 46.2. Third quarter, 88.9 from 2. 21-4 from 3, but they were 3 of 14. That's pretty bad from the 3. But they were 8 of 9. Fourth quarter. So I'm helping Lil out here, all right? Fourth quarter, 33% across the board. I can't even argue with that. I can't.
Absolutely. Zach, you up.
Yeah, so I think overall it's just really frustrating because the Knicks season has been a little bit up and down here and there. And when you look at this team, like they were playing good basketball, winning 8 games in a row, and then losing these recent games in pretty heartbreaking fashion. Like the Bulls game, DeMar DeRozan hitting just a clutch shot at the buzzer. They lose another game against Toronto. They can't hit free throws in that Bulls game as well. But this game was right there. And the Dallas Mavericks, they're a team that I don't really know what to think of right now because I'll get into Luka Doncic in a bit and just how highly I think of him. But for the Knicks, this is just super unfortunate because the game was right there. If you would have gone on the road and won this game without Jalen Brunson, that would have been a statement win. And unfortunately, they couldn't do that. But I put the blame, honestly, on everyone, the whole team. Like, I don't really view like one side or like one person to blame. You know, this Knicks team just has to learn how to win these games because it's interesting. 2 years ago in the shortened season, the Knicks have out of nowhere just a great year. Tom Thibodeau wins Coach of the Year. Julius Randle, he has a breakout year, earns himself a contract. And it almost felt like, how is this even real? Are the Knicks even this good? And then we saw what happened in the playoffs. And then last year, it was the opposite. Everything goes wrong. And you're wondering, how are the Knicks this bad? This team was just in the playoffs last year. And I think so far this year, we're seeing that the Knicks are a little bit in between. I don't think they are really as bad as last year, but they're really not as good as they were 2 years ago. And my question for the Knicks and their regime, I understand why they didn't want to give up RJ Barrett for the Donovan Mitchell trade. I know right now that's not looking great, but what is the big picture vision of this franchise? Like, it's going to be cool. They are right now in position to make the playing game, but big picture, like this team hasn't won anything in a really long time. Their last playoff series win came a decade ago. You know, it's been a while. So when you look at this Knicks team, do they need to add one more piece of the trade deadline? Maybe, but I would say it's progress compared to last year that they're in a playoff spot right now. But what are they doing going forward? What is their plan to at least try to put this team over the top?
And you know what? Salute to Robbie with his comment. I totally agree. Yeah, it was a terrible collapse. Okay, it was a terrible collapse. I'm not losing my head, me being a Knicks fan, only because, like, at the same time, a part of me is smiling in a way because we just saw greatness. And you can't ever hate on greatness, right? Luka did what he did. He done it again. The Don, right? Now, Zach, to your point about, what the Knicks' future is and their future plan is, I don't even know if they have a plan. You see Leon Rose always on the phone. Who you speaking to, bro?
He's silent. When was the last time he talked to the media? No?
And he's stockpiling picks and assets for what? To hopefully get a free agent that's upset and grunted. I think when we reflect back to how we are in the fourth quarter, we don't have that guy that we can go to with the ball and say, yo, get out my way, let me make a play. And I think when you reflect back to that Mitchell trade, I'm not going to get upset that we didn't bring Mitchell because I understand the parameters of everything. My guy, I'm blanking right now. My guy, the GM, not the GM, Danny Ainge, excuse me, Danny Ainge. I understand that he was trying to rob us because he saw that we had assets, so he wanted us to give all away our assets and rob us. But at the same time, there was a lot of people that said, oh, we got Donovan Mitchell. We was going to be the same exact seed that we are right now. Malarkey. That's a bunch of BS right there because you see how Donovan Mitchell is cooking up right now. We would have actually won some of these close games that we lost, right? Go back to the last couple of games that we lost. 5-game losing streak right now, right? DeMar DeRozan, mid-range shot, iced the game, put us away. Christmas Day, back and forth, fourth quarter, who won the game? James Harden and Joel Embiid. In this game, fourth quarter, who said, I want the ball in my hands, let me go make a play? Luka the Don. So at the end of the day, we know what our problem is. We play hard most of the time. We do. Sometimes we defend, sometimes we take days off. We do. Sometimes Julius Randle goes off. Sometimes he can't buy a shot off eBay. He does. But at the same time, we need to be more consistent. And at the same time, we need a superstar to come in the building. Now, how we get that superstar is the big question. And I think we need to draft that guy. Zach, any last words on the Luka side of things? Any takeaways from Luka? Anything that you already knew or didn't know? Like, what's your thoughts on Luka going off the way he did last night?
Yeah, so speaking of visions and long-term goals, I wanted to talk about Luka and the Mavericks a little bit. So I'm just so impressed by this kid. He's unreal, putting up the first 60-20-10 game in the history of the NBA. And I was super impressed last year what he did in the playoffs, getting the Mavericks to the Western Conference Finals when really, like, I think Jason Kidd did a really good job, and that team fit together really well. But they let Jalen Brunson go. The Knicks ended up getting him. And I'm just wondering, like, he's such a unique player because what makes him so good is how effective and how good and dominant he is with the ball in his hands. And I don't know what kind of other star you could bring in that could play well with that kind of style. I know they tried to bring in Porzingis, and it didn't work. And Luka Doncic is unreal. I know Giannis right now is probably the clear best cut player in the NBA, but I think Luka Doncic has a legit argument to be right there with him because he is the best in the league at making others around him better. And last year, that team with Brunson and Finney Smith and Reggie Bullock and Kleba, like everyone was able to shoot the ball. It fit together so well. They knocked out the number 1 seed Phoenix Suns in one of the craziest stunning games, most stunning game sevens I've ever seen. The Suns didn't know what they were doing. The Mavericks just beat them start to finish, and it was all because of Luka. I'm just wondering if you're Mark Cuban, like, how do you give this kid the best chance to win the championship as possible? Because I think he's so good that sooner rather than later, we're going to start to judge him like LeBron James, like Steph Curry when they, couldn't really break through and win a ring for the first time. Kevin Durant, like those kind of guys, because Doncic is that good. And I'm just kind of trying to figure out, like, what could the Mavericks do to make this team a legitimate championship contender around Luka Doncic?
I think for me, and we want Luka to reach that echelon of guys that we call, the best in the league, the best of a couple years span, right? Like Steph Curry from 2015 to now, right? But right now, I get Harden vibes in a way where it's like the offense is, Harden-centric, Luka-centric, and the ball's running through him, and he's putting up numbers, getting the team to the playoffs, but the championship is missing. And Luka is only but so much he can do, right? We know that this offense of Luka-centricness has a ceiling. right? He's not going to be able to win a championship like that. We know that at some point they're going to need another star to help Luka out so they can form a real championship contending team. And what I mean by championship contending team, they probably all won now, but I mean like, all right, yo, they're the favorites to come out of the rest of the conference. Right now it's so wide open, I can mention them in that conversation, not just the Nuggets, not just the Clippers, not just the Grizzlies, not just the Warriors, right? Nobody talking about them right now anyway, to be in that echelon. I think that's where having another star, another shot creator, which you also had in Jalen Brunson, you let him walk, you're going to need that in order for them to take that next step. But for right now, what's working is working. They just beat my Knicks, and it is what it is.